Hello everyone and welcome back to Send It's Weather channel. Now today we've got a lot of features for you. We're going to be starting by looking at the latest UK Metaphys run for the precipitation over the next couple of days. We'll also be looking at the next couple of weeks with the main model runs from the midday runs, so the GFS, the GEM and the ECMWF, and of course the ensembles, because there has been a few changes. Where's that 40-degree run gone? Is it still in there? Well, we'll have to have a look and you'll have to wait and see. But firstly, I wanted to look at the UKV run, the latest one. Because there's some much needed rain a lot of places have been wanting to see, and it's in the forecast now, so that might bring people some joy, depending on where you live, because some places have seen some relatively decent rainfall, whereas others haven't. So we're going to start by looking at 1 AM on Sunday, no particular reason. Can see an area of rain though, is moving through northwest England, beginning to move southwards. Patches of rain through northwestern Wales as well. But as we go through, can see the rain becomes more widespread, and also there's a little bit of CAPE, which is the energy for a thunderstorm, available to the thunderstorm, and there's greens and oranges around, indicating the potential for a few isolated thunderstorms, particularly for the east, for like Lincolnshire, for example, could see some quite heavy rain, torrential rain in parts, maybe a few isolated cells of thunderstorms as well, before that clears into the North Sea, and we're left with a few showers, particularly in the east and southeast, scattered showers for much of the UK, particularly though in the east for southeast and East Anglia, and there's a bit of CAPE around, so there could be a few thunderstorms by midday on Sunday. Going beyond that though, we can see again patchy showers, particularly focused further north and for central Britain. There's a weather front or a band of rain, a weak area of low pressure moving southwards, bringing some rain to the south and southeast there, could be quite heavy. CAPE with that is quite low, but you couldn't rule out an isolated thunderclap or something like that. Turning drier into Monday before into Tuesday again, mainly dry besides further north of Scotland. Thick cloud around though, particularly further north and west. But going into Wednesday and Thursday, turning drier again. So pretty dry picture, but a few days of much needed rain for some, maybe tomorrow. But of course, there's still a little bit of uncertainty about the exact pattern that we might see tomorrow with that rain. Now we're going to look next at the main model runs. Look at that transition. Did you like that? Leave a like for that. We're going to start by looking at the GFS run, the latest run. Now this is the one which was brought some interest yesterday with its 6 AM run with the 40-degree temperatures showing up there, but it has backed off. But we'll have a look at the latest. So again, at the moment, we've got high pressure retreating out to our west. We've got low pressure or weakening pressure to our east, and winds are transferring into more of a cooler and showery northerly or northwesterly wind. See, a little bit cooler than it has been as of late. Going beyond that though, high pressure begins to move again to our south more strongly. You can just see it over France there and over the Low Countries. It's moving just to our south there, and we are beginning to turn the wind into more of a warmer and drier direction again in the 10 degree isosphere, moving in from the west and the southwest. Beyond that though, into the end of this week, high pressure then begins to build to our east. Properly build to our east, oopsies. Build to our east there and southeast there. And then that drags in the wind from a southerly or southeasterly direction. Low pressures towards Iceland and Greenland. We're bringing in that 10 degree isosphere. 15 degree isosphere is getting into the south there, but definitely not the 20 degree isosphere it was showing a few days ago. Now as you can see, that drags it up, that warm air aloft. We maintain that southerly southwesterly wind, and it does bring in the 15 degree isosphere, particularly to the south and southwest. But again, a little bit of uncertainty with that. Eventually, we get the 15 degree isosphere up to central England by the Monday the 14th, and this brings in some quite warm air or hot air. Temperatures with this then, on Monday the 14th, would reach 30 to 31 degrees for Herefordshire there, for example. On that Sunday as well, pretty warm, 28, 29 or 30 degrees. I do think the temperatures will be a bit higher, but as you'll see from the other runs, they might have a few differing ideas. Going beyond that though, with the the GFS run, the high pressure begins to retreat away and is less potent, I should say, less strong, weakens a little bit. It has another go at building back in later on, keeps pushing it back as the GFS typically likes to do. Bit of a weak area of low pressure up to our west that allows in more of a southeasterly wind, and that drags in that warm air again by the 18th, a long way off now. Look at that heat dome to our southeast there, a 20 degree isosphere into the southeast there. That could lift the temperatures into the mid-30s if it were to come off. But of course, it is a very, very long way off, and very much uncertain, as you'd expect. Beyond that, you can see that cooler air tries to build back in, but again, we're building heights out to our east, winds in from a southerly direction once again with the GFS run. So definitely much uncertainty. But that's just one run, and of course it's one model run, it's flipping around a lot, especially in my longer term, and it could be wrong, such as with its 40 degrees it was hinting at for a few days around next weekend, around Sunday into Monday, with that proper warm southerly wind. So how does the GM compare? Well, we'll have a look. Now, this one is usually the unreliable model, I must note that, but it might be getting it right this time. So, high pressure again out to our west this weekend into the early part of next week. That is beginning to transfer further southwards, so remaining mostly dry, particularly further south. A few showers are possible on Monday in the north and the east in particular, with a few low pressure areas, weak areas of low pressure moving through, bringing a few showers and possibly the odd thunderstorm tomorrow. Going beyond that, though, for Thursday into Friday, high pressure is beginning to move just to our south, bringing in the wind from a westerly direction or southwesterly direction, and beginning to drag in the 10-degree ice firm, lifting the temperatures into the mid-20s. Going into the weekend again, we do see that high pressure retreat towards Scandinavia and to our east. That does bring in more of an easterly wind with this one. Yeah, with winds in from the east there, and you can see we get 10-degree ice firm in, not the 15-degree ice firm though, so it does kind of get shoved away to our south over France, as we see more of an easterly wind through Sunday, and that before it does turn more westerly into the longer term. So we don't bring in that really hot air, or the incredibly warm air, I should say, from the south. It has more of an easterly influence to the wind direction, and we remain warm. We're not too bad, but we're not bringing in anything ridiculous. So if we have a look on Sunday, for example, 26 to 27, it's pleasant, but it's not 40 degrees. That one run was showing. But to be honest, we're expecting, if it was me to give an honest guess, I'd say between the highs could reach 35, 36 degrees Sunday or Monday. But we'll have to wait and see. Now we've got the ECMWF run here, and this has literally just come out. High pressure again out to our west and southwest. That is beginning to move east. And just to the south of the country into Wednesday and Thursday, mainly dry, but lifting the temperatures up into the mid-20s with a 10-degree ice firm moving in. By Saturday, you can see we're into that again with this run. The easterlies are going into Norway and Sweden, and we're actually bringing up a southwesterly wind. We're not having that proper easterly influence, because if you remember with the GM run, it had high pressure established over Scandinavia. This has it more centred to the east of that, more over parts of western Russia, so we actually don't see an influence from that easterly wind. We actually see more of a southwesterly wind, and we can see the 15-degree ice firm hovering around the country. Into Sunday, we do see the 15-degree ice firm getting to the south, so we do see some of that hot air. Nothing extraordinary, though, but we are seeing the wind into more of a southwesterly direction, and you can see that the temperatures are probably going to be a little bit warmer there. You can see above average temperatures quite widely. Into Monday, though, we have cleared it away, and we're more into a typical Atlantic westerly pattern, westerly flow. So it won't stay around for long. It's just a bit of a heat spike if it does come off, and if the intensity is still to be determined, as there is a lot of chopping and changing. We'll have a look at the AI model, the ECM artificial intelligence run. Again, that high pressure transferring to our south to the latter part of next week, into Saturday and Sunday. High pressure again just out to our east, winds going to more of a southerly direction. And you can see with this run, more ambitious, 15-degree ice firm, getting into many parts of the country besides northwest Scotland. With 2 minute temperatures there, much higher, 31 to 32 degrees. I think that the AI model might be on the mark with this, and I think the temperatures will be something like 31 to 32 degrees, with the isolated 33, 34 or 35 possible. I don't think 40 degrees is in the ballpark anymore at the moment, not with the model not with the model agreement that we're seeing at the moment. I'm just zooming that in so you can actually see it. There you go. So this is the precipitation and the temperature anomalies from the GFS model for London. So you can see that we are oscillating around to slightly below average for the next couple of days, with a few rain spikes. You might not be able to see them, they're just off the chart, but there's a few precipitation spikes. Beyond that, though, it's pretty dry. A couple of showers maybe, but not much going on. But you can see into that second week of July, the one I've crossed out, that we are going above average, largely above average, quite significantly above the red line, which is the 30-year average. We are going around 5 to 6 degrees above that line. And the average reaches around the 14-degree isotherm, which could get temperatures to 28, 29 or 30 degrees. You can see a few outlier runs there. Let me remove the drawings there, the terrible drawings. You can see a few runs getting up to that 20-degree isotherm, but they are very much outliers. You can see the GFS 12Z run into that second to third week of July, showing that 20-degree isotherm. It's not favoured at all, not supported. But you can't rule it out. Never say never. The GFS has been right in the past, but I think on this occasion it might be slightly off the mark. It did pick up the heat wavy, warmy spell though, so you can't always rule out the run sometimes. Can see a couple of cooler runs into that second to third week, the 17th of July onwards, but they're not very much favoured. It kind of looks like we remain above average till the end of the run. If we look at the 2 metre temperatures, add a couple of degrees to these, that's probably the temperatures that we'll expect to see at the surface. So between the 11th and the 14th of July, temperatures expected to maybe reach the 30s, maybe a little bit higher around the 14th of July, around that Sunday into Monday. Next week could reach 30, 31, 32, 33 degrees. So very interesting. And also finally, I wanted to show you the CFS model run, which I do apologise for the change of the screen. But this is the anomaly for July. The CFS's idea for the month today is for plenty of high pressure around the country, over and just to the south. We're basically dominated by high pressure. That could bring in the wind from an east or southeasterly direction, so pretty warm and dry July. And then for August, it does look like more of an Atlantic breakthrough. We've got northern blocking, and we've got high pressure over Spain. We've got low pressure out to our east, and that's a battleground. But we could see more of a westerly direction to the air, high pressure to south, low pressure to the north and east. Winds in from the west could be a favoured pattern there. But of course, it is just a month anomaly, so take it with a pinch of salt. If you had to have a look at the winter, for all you fans out there, that doesn't look great, but it is like 6 months out, so just completely ignore it. It's just for a bit of fun at the end of the video. Low pressure out to the north and west, high pressures over Spain, winds in from the west. That looks like a pretty warm, well, not to say pretty warm, above average and mild December. January looks very good for cold. February looks bad. And then March looks, as you'd expect, wet. But I'm not looking past that. That is just a bit of fun. So don't take that bit seriously. Thank you very much. Don't go after me in the comments. So if you enjoyed today's video and found it informative, we'll summarise very quickly. So it looks like that we will see that a warm spell returning into the second week of July. It looks very much nailed on now. But of course, there is still a lot of uncertainty about the exact temperatures we will see around that Sunday to Monday next week. Oh, zoomed in. But we'll just see how things develop over the next couple of days. We'll definitely be nailed on with what's going to happen by, I'd say, around Monday or Tuesday as to the exact temperatures we might see potentially. So if you did find today's video informative, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. I do appreciate your continued support. I've seen some elevated growth recently, which is really nice to see. Thank you all for watching. Enjoy the heat when it arrives, if you like the heat. I like 24, 25, that's my range. But anyway, enough about that. Thank you all for watching. Enjoy the rest of your evening and your night, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone.